After being stunned by Toronto FC 2 in their last contest, Charlotte has another tough test ahead of them tonight. They face the resurgent Richmond Kickers. Saturday night action in the USL from the Queen City. Brendan Gulick and former national team captain from Guyana, Chris Nurse, along with you. And we're glad to be on board. It's a matchup between two teams tonight that are kind of in different places.
Yeah, Richmond almost eliminated from the playoff competition. However, the players will be playing for their futures and for contracts for next year, so there's still a lot at stake. Also a lot of pride. Charlotte, on the other hand, some injuries and suspensions. They'll be trying to build up momentum and continue good habits going into the playoffs.
How about some players to watch? And we'll start on the Richmond side, where even though they have struggled offensively this year, Sonny Janae has been a bright spot.
Yeah, Sonny Janae has been the dynamic spot for Richmond this season. Team of the week, a goal and an assist in the last game. He'll be looking to continue that hot form in tonight's performance and keep himself top of the tongue of the coach's selections for next season.
Richmond's only got 15 goals on the year, but they've scored 5 in the last 2 games. Janae a big part of that. On the other side, without Alex Martinez tonight because of a suspension, puts a little more pressure on Jaime Siaj to play well.
Yeah, the rookie Siaj has been very impressive in recent performances. He's come off the bench and given that little bit spark they've needed. He actually has 3 goals in just 2 starts this season and always finds himself in around the box in positions to score goals.
Take a look at the starting lineups, and we'll begin with the visiting Richmond Kickers. They've got some depth, but they've also got basically not much to play for in terms of playoff positioning, so they can change some things up here and kind of put a different group out there.
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, they're not a team that scored a ton of goals this season. We saw Sonny Janae is in the lineup. However, it's interesting to see that Oliver Minatel is not in the lineup despite having scored in the last game. Goals have been at a premium for this club, and it's going to be interesting to see who steps into Minatel's spot this evening to continue that goal-scoring form that they've been in recently.
For the Charlotte Independents and head coach Mike Jeffries, 12 wins, 8 draws on the year. They've had a heck of a season, and even though they're missing some pieces, this is still a very dangerous group. Yeah,
this Charlotte team actually has almost double the points that Richmond have accumulated this season. However, the loss of John Marcus Davidson and Alex Martinez in the middle of the park is going to be huge for them. Those two really make this team tick. Martinez is the engine room in the middle, and Davidson is the brain and the mastermind through the middle of the field, and they're going to be missed immensely this evening.
Not to mention Jorge Herrera, USL Player of the Month in July, also not in the starting lineup. He's been a big part too. So we are just about ready for the opening kick here this evening. Charlotte wrapping up a 4-game homestand, 1 win, 1 loss, 1 draw. They are hoping to finish this homestand on a positive note, but can Richmond win its 3rd in a row? Kickoff is next.
Technology spokesperson. Attention. Have you been seriously injured or has a loved one been killed in a motor vehicle accident?
Call 800-902-3240.
For a free legal case review, you may be entitled to compensation. Personal injuries can happen at any point in your lifetime, and in a few seconds, you or a loved one may suffer debilitating injuries that could change your life forever. For over 25 years, the Pulaski Law Firm has been an advocate for those who have been seriously injured. Let the lawyers at the Pulaski Law Firm get the compensation you may justly deserve. If you have been seriously injured and suffered permanent injuries, burns, and broken bones, or a loved one has been killed because of a car, truck, or motorcycle accident,
call 800-902-3240.
Get some peace of mind now.
Call 800-902-3240.
For a free consultation, you may be entitled to compensation.
Call 800-902-3240.
Your pet leaves fur wherever he goes, and it's impossible to clean when it gets on your clothes. Not anymore! Introducing the Hurricane Fur Wizard, an all-new extra-large lint brush that picks up fur and lint with ease, then cleans up instantly with a self-cleaning base. Fur Wizard is faster because of the double-sided action. It cleans up twice as much in half the time of other lint brushes. Plus, with just one dip, both sides are cleaned up quick, and just remove the base clip to empty. Look, a tape roller needs so many sheets, while just a few swipes of Fur Wizard easily cleans the entire surface. No refills are ever needed. Use it over and over again. Get your Hurricane Fur Wizard for just $19.99. But wait, call now and you'll also get the Fur Wizard Mini absolutely free. Perfect for quick on-the-go cleanups. It has a self-cleaning base too. But wait, call now and you can get a second complete Fur Wizard set. Just pay separate fee. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-261-4030 to get your Fur Wizard. Call or visit byfurwizard.com. So call 1-800-261-4030. Order now.
Kickers and Independence just about ready for the opening kick here tonight. Thanks for tuning in here at the outset of the game. Chris, before we get into the opening kick, maybe a couple keys to the game for both sides in your eyes.
I think Richmond are in not a desperate situation, but I think the players have a lot to prove. Obviously, it's a franchise that's been around a long time. They have a solid fan base, and this year hasn't been good enough for them so far. Although they could still make the playoffs if they win the remaining 7 games and some of the teams above them lose games, the majority of these players are now playing for their futures. You know, to show the manager they want to be there next year and they deserve to be, there's going to be changes. So they're playing for their livelihoods. Whereas Charlotte, on the other hand, they're a ready team who are in the playoffs now, and some of the new players who are coming to the squad off the basis of suspensions and injuries will now want to try to establish themselves as first-team players and claim a spot going into that playoff run. So there's a lot at stake this evening. Also, Charlotte lost their first home game at their new stadium last week. They're not going to want to continue that again this week. They're going to want to try and make amends for that this evening.
In my eyes, not just the fact that they lost that first game, but they lost to Toronto, who is having, quite frankly, a terrible year. Richmond is not a bad team, but they haven't been able to, really string some things together. They are also one of the bottom of the barrel teams in the East, and so back-to-back losses for Charlotte against those two teams in particular, you might think would be demoralizing. But again, we referenced Herrera's not on the field, June Marquez-Davidson, Alex Martinez, all not playing tonight, and you've got Caleb Calvert coming off the bench if he is available. He did roll his ankle in training this week.
Yeah, and I think Jim Marcus-Davidson especially is so key to how this Charlotte team plays when they play well, possessing the ball and maintaining possession and creating goal-scoring opportunities. He's such a key player in that midfield there. It's going to be interesting to see who can step in his position tonight and fill his boots.
We are off and rolling. Glad to have you on board with us on an absolutely beautiful night here in Charlotte. 83 degrees, partly cloudy skies, a little bit of a breeze, but not much to speak of. It's just very comfortable. Not much humidity either. Charlotte in that beautiful blue, and Richmond is in their white and red on the road as we get our first whistle of the game.
Yeah, as you said, perfect evening for soccer. Not too hot. You know, you can now see the shade coming over, the sun's starting to disappear. The players will appreciate that. It allows them to play at a higher intensity without getting dehydrated as quickly.
Yeah, it's Enzo Martinez that goes down as you get another look at it here. Not a ton of contact, but either way, he went down. By the way, our head official this evening, Gustavo Solorio, Gregory Brigman, and Christian Frey, his assistants, John Rush, the fourth official. So an early free kick opportunity for the men here at home. In this beautiful new ballpark here, Sportsplex at Matthews. Charlotte with a great goal-scoring chance. It's loose in the box, and unfortunately a bad strike just missed by Siage, but it deflects away for a corner.
Yeah, we spoke before the game about how Siage has 3 goals in just two starts this season, but he always seems to find himself in the dangerous areas where the ball's landing, where the ball's arriving, and he's always in and around the right area in the box.
Travis Wara in goal for Richmond. He tries to get everybody settled on loan from DC United. Corner kick comes across into a great spot, and Charlotte strikes. It's Siage, 1-0 Independence.
And we were just speaking about how Siage always finds himself in the right position, and you know, some bad marking there from that corner into the box there from Richmond, and Siage is in the right position just to slam that ball into the back of the net. 1-0 to Charlotte very early on in this game. Could be a long night for Richmond.
How about that for setting the tone?
Yeah, I think they're out to make a statement today. After losing, you know, their last home game, I think they're out to make a big statement this evening. Siage just in the right area at the right time. Has a natural knack for just anticipating where he thinks the ball's going to land in the box, and that's now 4 goals in 3 starts now for Siage this season.
Yeah, his 4th of the season. Richmond hasn't even really possessed the ball yet. Charlotte's already in the scoring column. Wow. Okay, so Charlotte comes out pretty quickly and makes a big statement. Well, we talked about Jaime Siage in our pregame saying how he needed to have a big night. on the free kick, he almost put one in. He certainly took a chance. And then on the corner kick, he's able to find the back of the net. Meanwhile, a quick attack here mounting for Richmond, and then it falls by the wayside when Chris Durkin couldn't run it down.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how Richmond react. You know, we've already spoke about where they are in the league right now. There's going to be changes for next season. These players now have to react. You know, if they give up now, nobody's going to want to sign players from a team who finished bottom of the league. Nobody's going to want to sign players who aren't necessarily performing the best that they can. So the best this team can do now is for individuals to give the best that they can and try and put themselves in the shop window come the end of the season.
Well, we talked with Mike Jeffries earlier this week, and he said, look, sometimes it's difficult to play teams that are at the bottom of the barrel at this time of year because you loosen up. You realize the playoffs, even if it's not mathematically impossible, you realize the playoffs are probably not in reach anymore. And so all of a sudden you just stop pressuring yourself more than you need to, and that can create some really difficult challenges for a team like Charlotte, who is playing for a lot. Not only are they in prime positioning to make the playoffs, but a home game in the playoffs is very much part of the equation, and they need to continue to play well.
Yeah, but I think what's disappointing, if you look at the stature of Richmond's defence with Milan Roberts, Alex Lee, William Yombi, these are big figures, and you'd expect them to win the aerial battle. A delivery in from a corner in that situation, you'd expect that to be a situation that Richmond would come out on top of. However, they found themselves conceding.
Siage tried to head one toward the middle. It's still possessed by Charlotte. Independents can't quite get a clean look yet. Wara's over, and a great play on the defensive side to clear it away. Consistent pressure, though, from Joel Johnson. And the Kickers knock it away.
Yeah, Richmond definitely starting very shaky in defence so far at the beginning of this game. They've not asserted their confidence and authority into the game at the back so far, and allowing Charlotte to attack them at will right now.
Nice job by Bilal Duckett coming up with that pressure. The opening 6 minutes of this game have been pretty one-sided. A second early goal for Charlotte would put Travis Wara and Richmond in a really bad spot. Wara's played 5 games as the starting goalkeeper this year for the MLS side, DC United. He is 0-5 in those 5 starts. 11 saves, 14 goals allowed. It's been a tough stretch for him. A 24-year-old goalkeeper who played his college soccer at the University of New Hampshire and is actually one of the more accomplished soccer players in America East history. But he has not found the same level of success on the professional level. Possession changes a couple times in the midfield. Poked away for a moment by Siage. Great through ball and an opening here. Genet lays it off to the outside. Gets it right back. Richmond looking for anything. Durkin taps it over to the left. Fernando into the corner. And it's deflected away. Good pressure from Malin Roberts.
And to be fair, it's a decent reaction from Richmond right now. You know, they're possessing the ball, but at the end of that possession, they need to create goal-scoring opportunities. So far, Charlotte have done a good job just to close them down and stop the cross. And
a way deep shot. Holy cow. I mean, that nearly caught Wara off guard. The shot was too far to the right, but still.
I think that speaks volumes of the confidence that Enzo Martinez has right now as a player. You know, and that wasn't far away at all, but you know, he's been in hot scoring form this season and rightfully deserved. He's very high in confidence, and I think that the opportunity is just the tip of the iceberg so far.
Alex Lee playing up as the right back. Plays it back to Yombi. Nice ball played over the top. Maybe something here for Richmond. Little shimmy, a chip toward the middle. But too many blue jerseys gotten Fernando and company into their way. Bulldog. Not what he drew up. We mentioned that Charlotte's coming off of a really bad loss. And I said that earlier Richmond's won 2 games in a row, but what I didn't mention was the quality of the win. Especially most recently, they beat Charleston, who is almost certainly a playoff team and very much a USL championship contender.
Yeah, I think this Richmond team, if you look through their roster, they have some talent, they have some experienced players, but the one thing they've struggled with is consistency. You know, that you beat a team like Charleston, who have been very good this season, been up the top of the table for the majority of the year, and then you go and concede in the first 2 minutes away to Charlotte. Doesn't put you in very good stand in terms of consistency, and to be successful at any level, you need consistency from your team.
Alex Lee plays it back. This is better from Richmond. Good possession-based soccer. He joined us late. Jaime Siage on the game's first corner kick. Struck for Charlotte. And they lead 1-0 at home. Left-footed shot from outside the box, didn't connect. Wasn't a great idea, but Richmond still had a chance to maybe make something happen.
And we spoke about the opportunity that the suspensions and injuries for Charlotte has created for some of the team players who may have been on the fringe or on the substitutions. But look at the opportunity now for Siage. He's scored 4 goals in just...
Fernando just missing the backside.
Siage has scored 4 goals in just 3 starts now this season. He's obviously put his coach in a difficult situation when the rest of the players come back, that he now genuinely has an honest argument for a starting position in this team.
No doubt about that. Well, fans, you can stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league by tuning into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts. Monday nights at 7 p.m. as you get a look at the replay. That's on SiriusXM FC, channel 85. Also, don't forget SiriusXM FC will air the game of the week in the USL. Please check the USLsoccer.com for dates and times. Fancy footwork from Yambi. Doesn't get it out of harm's way. Siage lays it back for a moment. Still some pressure from Joel Johnson. Centering pass. Boy, they had Estrada open on the backside. And a foul rightfully called against Castillo. They both kind of went swinging into each other.
Yeah, I think collision there between Castillo and Umar both seem like they'll be okay back up on their feet.
I don't think there was any malintent. Get another look at it.
Castillo just a little bit late with that one, but don't think there's anything malicious about the tackle, just a little bit ill-timed. Glad to see both players back up on their feet and good, ready to continue with the game.
So Travis Wara encourages his team to spread out. Legs it deep down the field. Okay, Richmond able to hang on. Charlotte still leads 1-0 on Jaime Siage's early goal, his 4th of the season. Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. Hard challenge and a foul. Hilton didn't like it, but Charlotte quickly maintains possession.
Yeah, I think managing games is very important for Charlotte right now. Obviously, they now miss Alex Martinez for 4 games, and I think the coach will be telling the rest of the players they don't want to go picking up unnecessary injuries and unnecessary suspensions at this time of the season, and players risk the danger of having those suspensions and injuries run on into the playoffs. You know, they just need to be a little bit more mindful in the way they approach the game and a little more cautious in some of the ways they might react to decisions as they would have earlier in the season.
We mentioned that Alex Martinez is out because of a 4-game suspension for an incident in last week's game against Toronto. He was ruled to have spat in the direction of a Toronto player, and it's an automatic 4-game suspension. Mike Jeffries was not happy with the decision, said he looked at the replay time and time again and just flat out disagreed with the call, thought it was a rash decision. Disappointed that it came to it, but he said, look, we just have to move forward. There's no appeal process. It's just a tough break, and we got to deal with it. And so we'll keep an eye on how they're able to move around up front. Meanwhile, Enzo Martinez is right now on accumulation warning. Have to see if he picks up that yellow card somewhere along the way to potentially get his 1-game suspension maybe out of the way before the playoffs. Perhaps Charlotte will wait for him to try and do that, at least with any intention, until they have a more firm grasp on where they'll be come postseason time.
Yeah, I think Alex Martinez has been very, very good for Charlotte this season. You know, he's been an important part of their team.
Wow, tough tackle in the middle, and that's an easy decision. The booking coming out, Enzo Martinez went down awfully hard.
Yeah, very careless giveaway from Richmond there in the middle of the park by Baldock. Careless ball across the middle of the field. Martinez gets onto it first, and his teammate ends up making the foul, but Richmond need to do a much, much better job of keeping possession of the ball from this Charlotte team. This Charlotte team is one of the most accurate passing teams in the league, and if you give them the ball back easily, they're going to hurt you with possession.
So our first booking of the game comes about a quarter of an hour in. Enzo Martinez back on his feet. Charlotte can ill afford to lose him. On the restart. By the way, confirming that Oscar Umar received the yellow card. Couple good passes. Martinez in an opening. Wants to shoot it. Lets it rip, and it's punched over the top of the bar.
Yeah, fantastic play there from Martinez. He could have ripped that shot a little bit earlier, but however, he was patient, beat the defender, good strike on target. You know, he's the team's leading player for shots taken, and rightfully so. You take more shots, you have more opportunity to score more goals, and he has 16 goals so far this season. Is looking to add to that tally this evening.
Lewis Hilton to play it in for Charlotte. If they could put a second goal on the board here in the first half, they would put Richmond in a really bad spot. It's a low, short corner played in, kept alive for just a brief second, and Richmond will take a goal kick.
And that's the third corner delivered by Charlotte that Richmond have not defended from very well at all. I think that's going to be something that the coach wants to address with the likes of Milan Roberts, Yombi, and Alex Lee at the back. They shouldn't be losing headers from corners, especially. Those guys are very big units and very good aerially. You know, they just need to apply themselves better. Maybe it's concentration, maybe it's a little bit of application. They don't necessarily want to go and win the ball as they should, but it's something that needs addressing against this Charlotte team right now.
Good work in the midfield from Durkin and Baldock. Out of the far side. Good spacing from Charlotte, making it difficult for Richmond to find an area to attack. They'll patiently work back up the left-hand side.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, when it's almost like you don't have so much to play for, the team plays a little bit more freely. You know, you play more possession, you play more keep ball, you have a little bit more freedom to do as you please when in possession of the ball, and I think that's what you're seeing from Richmond, but they're not creating goal-scoring opportunities off the back of it. There you see they strung together 10 nice passes and turned over possession to Charlotte, who are now counter-attacking against them.
David Estrada moved over to the left midfield spot here for this one. Plays it back for a moment. Hilton crossfield pass to Joel Johnson, who's dropped back to right mid today. Lungi rolls it over. Austin Yearwood left foots it. Out of bounds.
Charlotte right now just doing a good job of possessing the ball with a purpose. They're stretching the field and making it wide so that then the spaces open up in between this Richmond midfield and between the Richmond defence. Richmond, on the other hand, they're playing passes but not necessarily of any significant purpose.
If you're tuning in a little bit late, this game means a lot more for the Charlotte Independents than it does for the Richmond Kickers. Richmond not yet mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, but at 5 wins, 12 losses, and 8 draws, it is virtually impossible for them to still qualify. Charlotte has 12 wins, 5 losses, and 8 draws, and they're actually, in terms of overall points, tied for the top of the Eastern Conference, but they're in second place at the beginning of the day. A footed cross was knocked out of bounds, and so yet another corner kick coming.
Yeah, good defending there from Alex Lee to block that cross. But more so for Charlotte at this stage of the season, when you're going into the playoffs, it's always attention to the small details. And then in a game like this against a team at the lower end, it's good to see if they can maintain good habits and not fall into bad patterns that they maybe haven't done in other games. You know, going into playoffs, you want to make sure you pay attention to the small details and continue good habits.
Hilton to take the corner kick. A deep corner, headed clear, and taken care of by Janae. Cody Mizell has been hardly on your screen, let alone tested. Really only one good shot attempt from Richmond here in the opening 20 minutes. And technically, it was not a shot on goal.
Yeah, Mizell's been phenomenal for Charlotte this year. He's made some absolutely unbelievable saves. But he's probably been a little more active than he would have liked to be. He's up there in the league with the keepers with the most saves. I think had his defence been a little bit stronger, he may have had less saves to make. But when he's been called upon, he's been phenomenal so far this year.
Nevertheless, we have an 8-match unbeaten streak.
Yeah.
You tip your hat to whoever is playing in goal, and Mizell has certainly earned that praise. This is Enzo Martinez trying to shift sides of the field. Kalungi and Duckett exchanging passes. Little chip forward. Nice job by Ward to come up and play it on one hop. The USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and its rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting USLsoccer.com or following them on Twitter @USL. Good team defending there by the men in blue. Not necessarily a deep or rich tradition in terms of the series history between these two, but overall it's been pretty well contested. Charlotte leads the overall series, and they're comfortable in playing this Richmond Kickers team. Back to the Independents. And a foul on the back line. Umar has to be careful. He picked up the yellow card in the 15th, and he has been in a bad spot.
Yeah, I was just going to point out he's been the one player who's been in the mix of every 50-50. He came off on the wrong end of one earlier in the game with Castillo, however, since he's been the more aggressive one, making 2 tackles, since which the referee's having to speak to him about, telling him that one more and he could find himself having an early shower.
A premature restart, so we'll...
You almost want to see that from Richmond. You want to see some players in the team who are willing to bring a bit of fight, willing to show a bit of passion and close players down. So far in this game, Umar's the only player you could see has shown a little bit of desire to go and close players down or challenge for the ball. The rest have been a little bit passive so far as the game's gone on.
Right, if you're Lee Kalashaw, kind of looking around, hoping that someone's going to step up and kind of fill a leadership role. The fact of the matter is, that's kind of the one area of the team where they seem to be lacking. Duck it to the far side, and it was misplayed. Small crowd on hand tonight in Charlotte, though it is a beautiful night for soccer. Independence off to a good start after they scored in just the second minute of the game. The team hopes to finish up this 4-game homestand on a winning note and move a little further up the standings. 47 points could be the final destination at the end of the night. They've got 44 entering play here today. Richmond has played okay in the midfield, but it's passes like that that leave you searching for more. Yambi. Alex Lee. Good teamwork. Durkin. Nice little step over and a beautiful feed up to Fernando. Keeps it in play. Fernando beats one, then a second. Durkin there to help. Alex Lee crosses. Headed toward net, and a great defensive effort by Duckett. Charlotte comes to the save as a unit, but it's still alive for Richmond.
Yeah, Richmond had a spell of extended possession right now, but just waiting to see if they manage to challenge the keeper or make the keeper make a save off the back of this position.
Durkin, great footwork in the middle. It opens up a shot, and it's whacked right at Mizell.
Yeah, it turned out to be good play from Richmond. A number of consecutive passes and a shot that tested Mizell a little bit at the end of it. You know, that's positive play from them. If they can continue that, it's going to build up the play of the confidence of the players throughout the game, and it could allow them opportunity to get back into this game.
Well, the problem for Richmond is that too many times this year they have had to play from behind. And when you start a game, quite literally, almost from the opening whistle, down 1-0, it just changes the entire complexion of the game.
Yeah, and especially if you know you're coming away to Charlotte here at Matthews Stadium, and you know they've only lost one game here for the whole season. You know that initially, the early stages of the game, you don't want to concede a goal because it's a hard enough place to come and get a point, let alone to go conceding a goal within the first couple of minutes. And I think, you know, they probably weren't ready to start the game as they should have been, not switched on and focused, and went down very early in the game and give themselves a mountain to climb here.
Imura. Gets it right back. Touch pass. Durkin sends it back up. Janae. Tackled. And a foul. Siage the culprit.
Now Richmond find themselves in a good area, a dangerous area to get a shot on goal. They'll want to test Mizell from this set piece. Interested to see who's going to step up to take it.
They could put 27 minutes of frustration behind them if they execute well on this free kick. Both Janae and Imura stand over it.
Although it's never admirable for a player to give away fouls, especially around the edge of the box, you have to admire Siage's work rate. You know, he's the player who scored the goal at one end, and he pays as much attention to his defensive duties as he does to his offensive duties, and you often see him working just as hard to get back and defend for his team as he does to get on the end of goal-scoring opportunities.
It's Imura. Not a bad idea, but it's too far wide left. Was able to slip it through the wall, but missed the net entirely.
Yeah, Mizell never really looked threatened by that shot. I think he saw it comfortably going wide.
So Charlotte leads 1-0 on Siage's early goal on the first corner kick of the game in the 3rd minute. Fans, you can stay up to date with the latest USL news and information from around the league by tuning into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts, Mondays at 7 p.m. on Channel 85, Sirius XM FC. Don't forget, it will also air the USL Game of the Week. Please check uslsoccer.com for dates and times. Hard to believe that, give or take a few, most teams have 6, 7, 8 games remaining on their regular season schedule. And then it'll be time for the playoffs.
Yeah, there's approximately 21 points left to play for, depending on how many games you have left. Still a lot of points left on the table, but in terms of Richmond's situation, they'd have to win all of their games and rely on a lot of the teams above them to lose a lot of games. At this stage of the season, it's a difficult ask to see them making the playoffs, but they have to maintain hope and have some kind of aspirations in their minds to play for to make every game relevant.
Well, the biggest game in the Eastern Conference is already wrapped up today. And that was a game played between Louisville City and Charleston, in which Louisville City, on their home field, were able to come away with a 1-0 win. That is such a big win for them. The goal came very late. Gaia Bend in the 78th minute put Louisville out front. 3 big points for a team that is right now at the top of the Eastern Conference, and Charleston is still one of the top 4 looking for a home playoff game. That would have been a big win for the Battery.
Yeah, and especially meeting towards the end of the season, you know, playoffs is everything, and going into the playoffs, you want to ensure that your team is heading in the right direction, in good form, in good confidence. You know, a couple of the teams, Charleston and both Charlotte, have had a few rocky results as of recent. A little bit of turbulent form coming towards the end of the season, but they want to turn that around and make sure they finish the season, the regular season, on an upward trajectory and take that confidence forward into the playoffs.
Charlotte gets it out of harm's way for a moment. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, who right now are both kind of on the bubble in terms of being playoff teams. They squared off today in Cincinnati, finished in a 1-1 draw. Johnson couldn't quite keep possession. That was pretty well defended by Malin Roberts.
Yeah, a good opportunity there, Johnson, in a one-on-one situation. His touch was just a little too far ahead of him than he would have liked. Roberts was just able to read the situation and intercept him. Kickstart Richmond attack here.
Corey Herzog scored for Pittsburgh in the 3rd minute in Cincinnati. Usually you don't see the roadside coming into Nippert Stadium too often and grabbing an early lead, but Andrew Wiedemann's 40th minute goal tied things up, and the game would eventually end in a 1-1 draw, so both teams lead with 1 point.
Yeah, Herzog, another of the league's prolific goal scorers, scored some spectacular goals so far this season.
Tough challenge, play on awarded. Mizell comes to the rescue. Kind of.
I think possession-wise, the game's probably pretty even right now. But I think the main stat that counts is Charlotte 1, Richmond 0. Richmond have had a decent amount of possession, but they've not really tested the goalkeeper as you would have imagined for the amount of ball that they've seen. Charlotte, on the other hand, have been more efficient. When they've had the ball, they've made things happen with it.
According to our official match stats, Richmond actually is leading overall possession by nearly 20%. Problem is they haven't, until the last few minutes, possessed it frequently enough in the offensive third of the field. As Enzo Martinez drew the foul, back to the Independents. You did reference earlier, though, how well Richmond passes the ball, and they are one of the best in the entire USL at connecting passes. They have actually done so on more than 80 passes than Charlotte has this evening. Many of them are short and clean, crisp looks, trying to string things together, but so far, still a goose egg on the scoreboard. Yearwood leading the charge, lays it off, and some miscommunication with Estrada cost Charlotte the possession.
Yeah, good attacking opportunity there from Charlotte. Yearwood just choosing the wrong selection of pass. Probably should have been a little bit more selfish aggressively and taking on the defender himself. Bit of a communication mix-up there, giving possession back to Richmond.
Imura. Janae leaves it away. Umar up to Alex Lee. Janae in the middle. Look how well he was covered by Hilton. He found an opening just for a second. Shot was deflected away. This one sent toward the middle. Richmond keeps it alive.
Yeah, I think Richmond's key to success is going to be get the ball to Janae's feet in and around the box in the final third. You know, he has a good change of direction, good speed, very agile and tricky player. He can draw fouls, beat players, and create scoring opportunities with his ability in the final third, but they need to get him the ball more often.
Braden Troyer plays it back.
Fantastic switch of pass there from Roberts.
Fernando to a great spot. But the ball was struck on the wrong side. Pops up into the air. Troyer with a low rocket deflected. Still alive, and Mizell goes up and grabs it.
Yeah, a little bit unorthodox catch there from Mizell. You thought that one might have slipped out of his hands almost into the back of the net, but he looks fairly composed and comfortable in the end.
Charlotte's early goal, the difference at the moment. Independence on the move. Well, they pass it backwards for a moment. Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, please visit NikeSoccer.com. Kalungi back to Duckett. Mentioned some of the big games that contested in the Eastern Conference. There's some big ones in the West too. We'll get to that in a minute. Fast break opportunity for Richmond. And Kalungi able to step in front. Nice job by Johnson, who's playing as the right midfielder, although he runs all the way to the left side of the pitch here.
Good tackle there from Roland Roberts in defence there. Callum Ross doing a good job in the absence of Marcus Davison in the middle of the park, just getting hold of the ball and trying to play forward passes from that defensive midfield position.
So Real Monarchs and San Antonio FC are squaring off a little bit later this evening. Those are the top two teams in the West. Great ball for Fernando. He rips a shot, Mizell with a great save.
Yeah, fantastic play there from Richmond. A great run from Imura there to find himself in front of goal for the scoring opportunity, but you would have just hoped the midfielder, you slid him in, continued his run into the box, in and around the penalty spot. Imura could have just slid him across for an easy tap in into the goal, but Imura ended up having a shot from a fairly difficult angle that you'd expect the keeper to make the save in that situation.
Sacramento and Colorado Springs. I can't spit it out. The Switchbacks play later tonight. Orange County and Reno will get underway at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Swope Park in Oklahoma City with an interesting matchup a little bit later. There are a lot more teams in contention for a playoff spot in the West after you get past those top couple of seeds where everybody seems to be locking things down. I mean, the fact of the matter is the Monarchs have played extremely well. San Antonio's on their heels with Reno, Swope Park, Tulsa, Sacramento, Colorado Springs, and Oklahoma City rounding out those in playoff positioning right now.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with what I've seen of the Monarchs this season. It'll be interesting to see if they can continue that.
Finally, the offside whistle gets blown.
Interesting to see if the Monarchs can continue that form into the playoffs. We always know that the team who wins the regular season doesn't necessarily win the playoffs, but they've been very impressive this year.
Another look at Mizell's save there.
And when you have a keeper like Mizell behind you, as a defender, it instills confidence in you to defend better and to press forward and to be able to go and close the ball down, because you know that behind you, you have a very confident and a capable keeper behind you. And I think Mizell gives his defenders that confidence. He's been composed and a breath of fresh air for them at the back in the goalkeeping position this season.
Richmond's efforts in the first half have gone for naught so far. Although their lengthy passes have been usually pretty good, this one bangs up Yearwood. Looks like the booking is coming. Alex Lee given the yellow card.
Yeah, I don't think it's malicious, but he turns his back as the ball comes up for the header, and you know, it gives the player going up for the ball a little bit of a disadvantage if a player jumps and turns their back. So a very culpable reason for players getting injured. So the referee rightfully books him. If he's going to challenge for the ball, he has to keep his eye on the ball and challenge fairly. You can't turn your shoulder or turn your back on the ball.
Good pressure by Janae. Duckett has to get creative.
Yeah, good feet there from Duckett at the back. Get himself out of trouble there, weaving. See Mizell here telling his team to get up the field. He's going to punt it longer.
Callum Ross with the touch. Right ahead, Siage with a foot race. He won't win it. Yambi was able to clear it away. As this one's played out so far, Chris, what's your impression on how Charlotte's adjusting to the fact that Alex Martinez and Jorge Herrera not available along with June Marquez Davidson?
I think obviously that it's a different Charlotte than we've seen in recent weeks, but I think they're dealing with the circumstances well. You're not going to be able to replace players like Marcus Davison and Alex Martinez just overnight, but the players who have stepped in have done a remarkable job so far in this game. They're managing the game well. They're winning 1-0 despite not having the most of possession. There's never really felt like they're under any threat right now. You know, they're very comfortable in the lead, and I think they've done an admirable job so far. I think the coach will be happy at half-time. I think Richmond can definitely step it up a gear and increase the intensity in the match. And it'd be interesting to see if that's what their coach demands of them in the second half.
Mizell comes a long way away just to pick it up himself. Bad idea, but nobody waiting over there.
Yeah, Charlotte just a little bit guilty of forcing the pass there, but fantastic pressuring together to win the ball back.
Now coming
by
together.
Johnson there.
Martinez runs it to Johnson. Tries to feed it across, it didn't work.
Yeah, the ball was given away slackly, but Johnson and Estrada did a fantastic job to go on pressure and win it back immediately.
So big corner kick for Charlotte. Lewis Hilton. Right as he was about to strike it, the whistle blew.
And corners have been an area for concern for Richmond's defending so far in this game. It's going to be, this is the fourth corner that they've defended. It's going to be interesting to see if they're able to do better than they have so far in this game.
Well, maybe a little bit of bad blood between a couple of guys. To the back post, and a great job as a team defending that.
Yeah,
Wara never got anything on it. Possession still alive, and Wara comes away.
That's a fantastic block off the line to stop that from being 2-0 to Charlotte, but again, the defending from corners from Richmond has been non-existent so far in this early first half.
And It has easily been their biggest area of weakness. The USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and info at uslsoccer.com and on Twitter at USL. We're approaching the end of our first half. We anticipate a few minutes of stoppage time, but we'll give you official word when we receive it.
Good footwork there from Johnson to keep possession.
Yeah, Troyer was all over him. Jaime Siage put one in off a corner kick in the 3rd minute. It's the only goal so far. Charlotte got off to a screaming hot start, but since then, Richmond's cooled them down a little bit.
And set pieces are so important in games. I think if Richmond's defending was better from set pieces, this game would be more even right now, and it could be, you know, 50-50, or Richmond could even be in the lead in this game. However, their defending from set pieces have been so poor. It's a surprise that Charlotte aren't ahead more so far in this game. They're not winning the first one from the corners, and Siage's goal came off the seconds of a corner. If you don't win the first and you don't win the seconds, it's obvious that you're going to end up conceding goals from set pieces.
Charlotte doesn't seem to be too pleased with the way they have been challenged on a lot of these different plays tonight. Enzo Martinez, I mean, let's just call it like we see it. I mean, he typically plays with his emotions on his sleeves, but maybe even more so tonight than usual.
Yeah, Enzo's a player who has a lot of touches on the ball, and if he comes up against players who are aggressive in closing down and pressuring, he's very quick and nimble, and is able to often draw fouls in tight situations, as he has done this evening.
2 minutes of stoppage time added on. Kalungi just got way too much of that.
Yeah, and with just 2 minutes in stoppage time, you just need to manage the situation. You don't want to go giving the ball back to the opposition and allowing them to now come and attack at you. You just need to see the timeout in a professional manner and control the game in that situation.
That's exactly what Wara has in mind as he takes his time getting set here. Sends it a long way up the field. Kickers have the ball.
Estrada just struggling to keep that one in play.
Lee gets it back. Maybe the other side of the field will be a better formula. Troyer. Janae. Boy, Estrada's or rather Lewis Hilton, I should say, is all over him. I think it's called for the whistle.
Good balance there from Janae. You could see he changes direction so quickly. Very good, has a lot of agility for a player with and without the ball. Makes it very difficult for defenders to keep close tabs on him.
Yeah, Hilton has neutralized him very well tonight. Could be the last play here before halftime. Mizell punches it clear. Throw in goes for Umar. Still into the box, still alive. Mizell makes sure that it lands on the top of the goal instead of in front of it.
Yeah, this is likely to be the last kick of this half. Interesting to see if Richmond can steal an equaliser just before half-time. Will most certainly give them momentum for the beginning of the second half.
Mizell trying to make sure his defense marks everyone. On the way in. Headed from the backside, and it just misses the back left post.
And that was a fantastic opportunity for them to go into half-time level. Just the last touch of the half could have set them up to go in 1-1 at half-time. He just heads it wide of the post. He'll want that one back, however. That should have been the 1-1 equaliser.
So a bad start for the Richmond Kickers, but they are able to catch their breath and keep this game in striking distance as one of the best teams in the East, Charlotte, leads 1-0. We are at halftime. Highlights and stats come your way next from Charlotte.
Do you suffer from blackheads, dirty pores, or oily skin? You've even tried squeezing them out and nothing works until now. Introducing Black Off, the newest, hottest at-home way to remove blackheads, cleanse pores, and absorb excess oil. Just apply a thick layer of Black Off to your face and let it dry. Then peel it away to reveal your deepest clean skin.
It pulled all of the blackheads out, and you can see like the circles where everything was tugged outward.
Put your freshest face forward and never worry about blackheads again with Black Off. The proof is in the peel. Call or go online now to get your Black Off for just $19.99. Order now and we'll double the size of the tube absolutely free. As a bonus, we'll send you our Black Off skin cleanser, also absolutely free. But call or click now and you can double the offer. Just pay a separate fee. Get the ugly stuff off with Black Off. The proof is in the peel. Order now.
Call 1-800-260-5583 to get your Black Off. Call or visit by blackoff.com. So call 1-800-260-5583. That's 1-800-260-5583. Call now.
Your pet leaves fur wherever he goes, and it's impossible to clean when it gets on your clothes. Not anymore. Introducing the Hurricane Fur Wizard, an all-new extra-large lint brush that picks up fur and lint with ease, then cleans up instantly with a self-cleaning base. Fur Wizard is faster because of the double-sided action. It cleans up twice as much in half the time of other lint brushes. Plus, with just one dip, both sides are cleaned up quick, and just remove the base clip to empty. Look, a tape roller needs so many sheets, while just a few swipes of Fur Wizard easily cleans the entire surface. No refills are ever needed. Use it over and over again. Get your Hurricane Fur Wizard for just $19.99. But wait, call now and you'll also get the Fur Wizard Mini absolutely free. Perfect for quick on-the-go cleanups. It has a self-cleaning base too. But wait, call now and you can get a second complete Fur Wizard set. Just pay separate fee. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-261-4030 to get your Fur Wizard. Call or visit by furwizard.com. So call 1-800-261-4030. Order now.
Charlotte trying to finish off this four-game homestand with a win. They've got an early goal, and so far the only tally of the first half. They lead Richmond 1-0. Alongside Chris Nurse, I'm Brendan Gulick. Here's some first half numbers for you from a game that early on, again, looked dominant for Charlotte, but Richmond's done a nice job keeping themselves alive.
Yeah, we also spoke about how Richmond, not really any pressure apart from the individual players that the players put themselves under now to perform in this game. They're almost eliminated from the playoffs. However, they've been very good in possession in this game, but they haven't necessarily made the keeper make as many saves as they should have, despite the amount of time they've seen the ball. Charlotte, on the other hand, came out very, very quickly, got an early goal, and have done the necessary since then to maintain the lead. Absorbed pressure, been very good in possession, been good on the counter-attack. It's going to be Richmond who are going to have to be the aggressors in the second half to get a win in this game.
And Meisel's come up with a couple of nice saves as well. So Charlotte leads 1-0 at the intermission. We'll take a quick timeout to hear from our sponsors around the USL, but we'll have some highlights for you when we come back to Charlotte.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing.
I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels, coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Week 23 of the 2017 USL regular season was one for the record books. 5 midweek matchups took center stage as the league's total attendance record was shattered. Wednesday night saw the USL surpass the 1.5 million mark in total attendance, pushing past 2016's total attendance in just 6.5 weeks after the league passed the 1 million mark. FC Cincinnati continues to lead the league in average attendance with more than 20,000 fans per game, with Sacramento Republic FC not far behind. But notably this season, the league has more than doubled its number of teams averaging more than 5,000 fans per game, with 9 clubs above that mark. Those 9 teams, which include newcomers Reno 1868 FC, Ottawa Fury FC, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies, sit in the top 11 in average attendance nationally outside Major League Soccer. With the season pushing on, the 2 million attendance mark is on the horizon. As the race for the 2017 USL Cup playoffs heats up, the league's fans are not cooling down. For USL Network, I'm Morgan Conklin.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
Why do you not get me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. At work or at play, you're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Oh, hey, she's cute. Nice going, man. Things are going great for you. You've earned a night out. Good drinks, good friends. Yeah, we can go ahead and call this a good night. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Not smart. Yeah, I saw that coming. Say goodbye to her. Ouch, that'll hurt your bank account. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. I hope you like eating frozen dinners. Alone. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Charlotte leads 1-0 at the intermission against the Richmond Kickers, who have won 2 games in a row for the first time this year, but they trail by a goal thanks to Jaime Siage early in the game. I'd like to take a moment to remind you that our next contest that will be nationally televised on ESPN3, Phoenix and Orange County. It's coming up this upcoming week on 10:30 as an opening kickoff. Game will be played out on the West Coast. Well, we think it's appropriate to remind you, too, that our thoughts and prayers most certainly go out to those affected by Hurricane Harvey. The USL is actually encouraging fans to donate to the American Red Cross at 1-800-RED-CROSS or text the word Harvey to 90999. Again, text the word Harvey to 90999 to make a donation or call 1-800-RED-CROSS. Our thoughts and prayers with all those affected by Hurricane Harvey. Charlotte 1, Richmond 0. When we come back, we're going to have some first half highlights for you. We'll take a look at the upcoming schedules, and then we'll roll into the second half. Independence by 1 at the break.
Non-attorney spokesperson. Attention. Have you been seriously injured or has a loved one been killed in a motor vehicle accident?
Call 800-902-3240
for a free legal case review. You may be entitled to compensation. Personal injuries can happen at any point in your lifetime, and in a few seconds, you or a loved one may suffer debilitating injuries that could change your life forever. For over 25 years, the Pulaski Law Firm has been an advocate for those who have been seriously injured. Let the lawyers at the Pulaski Law Firm get the compensation you may justly deserve. If you have been seriously injured and suffered permanent injuries, burns, and broken bones, or a loved one has been killed because of a car, truck, or motorcycle accident,
call 800-902-3240.
Get some peace of mind now.
Call 800-902-3240
for a free consultation. You may be entitled to compensation.
Call 800-902-3240.
Do you suffer from blackheads, dirty pores, or oily skin? You've even tried squeezing them out and nothing works until now. Introducing Black Off, the newest, hottest at-home way to remove blackheads, cleanse pores, and absorb excess oil. Just apply a thick layer of Black Off to your face and let it dry. Then peel it away to reveal your deepest clean skin.
It pulled all of the blackheads out, and you can see like the circles where everything was tugged outward.
Put your freshest face forward and never worry about blackheads again with Black Off. The proof is in the peel. Call or go online now to get your Black Off for just $19.99. Order now and we'll double the size of the tube absolutely free. As a bonus, we'll send you our Black Off skin cleanser, also absolutely free. But call or click now and you can double the offer. Just pay a separate fee. Get the ugly stuff off with Black Off. The proof is in the peel. Order now.
Call 1-800-260-5583 to get your Black Off. Call or visit by blackoff.com. So call 1-800-260-5583. That's 1-800-260-5583. Call now.
Charlotte 1, Richmond nothing. Jaime Siage with the early firework goal, I suppose maybe the best way to say it. It was kind of a cool corner kick. The ball fell right to him. He was able to put it in the net. I'm sure it'll be early on here in our highlight package from the first half. Outside of that early goal, wasn't a whole lot of highlights to speak of. Teams made their way on the field early on. Chris, your thoughts on the way things played out?
Yeah, Charlotte definitely started the game like the home team. We saw set pieces, especially defending corners was a problem for them the whole first half. They didn't win the first header, didn't win the drop down, and Siage was there at the right time in the right place. Easy tapping into the back of the net.
Yeah, and Siage had a shot on goal there just before his goal. That was deflected out of bounds to set up the corner kick. So when he misfired on the first, he made sure to take care of it the second time through. That's the only tally we had the first half. That didn't mean we didn't have any other excitement, though. Marcel came up with a couple of spots.
Richmond were good in possession, however, they didn't necessarily test Mizo as much as they could have. This was one of the opportunities that they got through. Strike across goal, but nobody was making the run in there for the easy tap-in. Here we see the dangerous Enzo Martinez, fakes a defender, takes a touch inside, and a good strike on goal.
Some creativity, I think, on the Charlotte side, but nothing came of it. Richmond has strung some passes together. This was one of their best looks.
Yeah, this
Durkin with some real fancy footwork.
That was Richmond's best extended period of pressure just before that shot there. Possibly around 20 passes before a final shot that tested Mizo in goal that he was very evenly matched up to.
That was a tremendous save on a rocket from Fernando.
Yeah, it was a good run and a good through ball there. Difficult angle to score from, but Mizo again, good save. But there we saw that fantastic header off the line to keep this game in a deficit of just one.
So there's a look at your first half highlights. We come back to you here with Richmond's upcoming schedule. And again, both teams don't have too many games remaining in the regular season. At Charleston probably seems to be the most difficult game that is of those next five. But again, for Richmond, they need a borderline miracle to still qualify for the playoffs.
Yeah, and here you see 3 of their next 5 fixtures away from home. Away points are always very difficult to come by, as they're finding out this evening away at Charlotte.
On the Charlotte side, their schedule doesn't get a whole lot easier either. They play Charlotte, or I should say they play Charleston next. You see that final game there at Louisville. I should say the final game listed on that screen. Their final game of the regular season is the only game not listed on that screen, and that's at home against Charleston. But matchups against Tampa Bay and Cincinnati too. Man, Charlotte's got a gauntlet here late.
Yeah, it looks a tough schedule to finish off the season, but it's perfect preparation for the postseason. They play away at Charleston, who are in and around their positions right now in the table. Away at Tampa Bay, always a very good, strong time, and away at Louisville City, who are top of the standings right now. If they can perform well in those 3 big games that they have up, it puts them in good standings going into the playoffs.
Here are the Eastern Conference standings, and Mike Jeffries mentioned that he likes the fact he's playing against teams that give him a chance to control his own destiny, because he's playing against teams that are almost entirely right in the thick of the playoff chase.
Yeah, and this Charlotte team, I don't think they've given up on first position yet. They know that Louisville obviously in the position to take control of their own destiny with a couple of games in hand, but if if they can keep the pressure on and keep picking up points, they have a good chance of taking the #1 spot in the Eastern Conference.
Unfortunately, those standings reflect that Charlotte already has won this game, and that is not true. Charlotte's still 12-5-8. They are at 44 points right now in second place, but should they win, then they would be at 47. On the west side of things, it's a lot less of a race for the top spot. Real Monarchs have been incredible. They're playing San Antonio tonight. Reno's also had a great season.
Yeah, and also we see Didier Drogba's Phoenix Rising sitting just outside of the playoff positions right now. However, you can see they have almost 5 games in some instance hand over teams in and around them. Just 3 points outside the playoffs now. You imagine if they can pick up points in those games in hand, they'll be a fair contestant for playoff positioning.
Games in hand changes everything this time of year as the Western Conference shakes itself out too. We've got a quick minute, so we'll take a look at the power rankings brought to you on USLsoccer.com. You'll notice those top 2 spots are occupied by Western Conference foes and 3 of the top 4.
Yeah, we've spoken about how impressive Real Monarchs have been throughout the duration of the season, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can continue that into the playoffs, because we will know that the regular season champions aren't necessarily the team that wins the playoffs, and playoffs around count for everything. So as good as Real Monarchs have been this season, they're going to need to maintain that going into the postseason.
The points there in parentheses are for this poll, not necessarily the points accumulated in wins, losses, and draws. Second half almost ready to get underway, but we have a quick minute, so we'll show you a couple of news and notes from around the league. Obviously, that one on the bottom there with Eastern Conference leaders. There are lots of teams that are playing well, but not too many better than Louisville City.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You know, right now is the international break. We saw the U.S. national team play last night. The league currently has 18 current and former players competing in 2018 FIFA World Cup qualifiers right now. That's outstanding.
Certainly great to see for the USL. All right, we're about to start the second half with Charlotte in blue, Richmond in white. A couple of new Richmond subs out on the field, and we will get those to you in just a second.
So it looks as though...
Yeah, Raul Gonzalez and Oliver Minatel have come into the ball game.
Yeah, it looks like Minatel is coming for Sonny Janae. You know, we spoke about how dynamic and offensive Sonny Janae has been for Richmond and how good a weapon he's been for them this season. Now he's not in the rest of this game. It's going to be interesting if Minatel, who also scored in their last game, can step up and spark some offense into this team to get them back in level on this game.
How about Raul Gonzalez as a midfielder? He's in for Bulldog. Durkin plays off for Troyer.
As you mentioned, Charlotte's defensive midfielders did a good job of neutralizing Janae in that first half, and obviously the coach has noticed that and made a change here to see if Minatel can spark something different going forward offensively for Richmond.
As best we can tell, no substitutions on the Charlotte side. Siage struck early in the first half. And he knew as soon as he struck that one that it wouldn't work out in his favor.
Yeah, he puts the ball into dangerous area. However, he didn't quite make eye contact with Martinez before he delivered the ball, and they weren't quite on the same page. But good counter-attack there early on. Again, Charlotte aggressive in the early stage of the beginning of the second half.
Charlotte Independence trying to follow up their only home loss of the season with a win. And right now they're in good positioning, but a one-goal game really doesn't mean much. Certainly not at this point.
Richmond definitely making some changes to their forwards. Minatel, the Brazilian forward who spent some time with Ottawa Fury, Puerto Rico FC, and has now found himself a home here in Richmond, has come on into the second half to try and spark them back into life.
Chris,
what is the equalizer in this game?
What does he bring that Janae didn't?
He has European experience. That's one thing. He's one of the players in this league or in this team who's actually played in the Europa Cup when he was spent some time in Europe. But he has a good soccer brain. He makes good, clever runs, and he has a lethal finish in front of goal.
Fernando with a good cross, a little bit too far out in front.
I think Janae is more of a player who needs the ball to feet. He's able to pick up, turn, drive, run at players. You know, he can take scoring opportunities himself, but he's more a creator for other players. Minotaur is the player who's more likely to get on the end of the ball.
Richmond needs somebody to be creative, no doubt about that. Enzo Martinez applying some pressure. Travis Wara clears it out of harm's way. Charlotte 12 wins, 5 losses, 8 draws on the year, coming off of a loss in which they had a 2-0 lead at halftime and gave up basically 3 goals in 8 minutes in the second half to a Toronto FC2 side that's just been flat out bad this year.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely something they're going to be mindful about in the second half. In the last game, they were winning 2-0 half-time. They ended up conceding 3 goals at home in the second half and losing that game. I'm sure this half they're going to make sure they pay more attention defensively. They don't want to concede, and they most certainly don't want to be on the end of their second loss at home this season. Their new home, should I say. Their new home.
Free kick coming in a moment. Dennis Castillo knocked down.
Dangerous area, this set piece here for Charlotte. Looks like Hilton's going to deliver this into the box rather than take a strike on goal. Just giving out some instructions to his teammates here where he wants them to make the run. It looks like he's probably going to try and target Castillo, maybe?
Well, Castillo would make some sense. He's a win-at-all-costs kind of guy. Very competitive. Hilton. Maybe got a little more on that than he wanted. The deflection came down. Still alive and a good shot idea, but not well executed.
Yeah, the first delivery might not have been quite what he asked for, but Yearwood nodded that ball down into a perfect area in the center of the box for somebody to run onto and slam into the back of the net. However, nobody made the run, and ended up Richmond defending it out of play.
Charlotte mounting something. Perhaps not. Two teams with different stories this year. Charlotte played so many road games early in the year while their complex was still being constructed.
Martinez does such a clever job of turning his body and allowing that ball to run across his body to keep possession when he's controlling it. It stops defenders from being able to step in front of him, and if they hit him from behind, it's obviously a foul because you're not allowed to tackle from behind. He uses his body so well for such a small guy, very strong and powerful also.
Martinez taps it back. Callum Ross.
Ross has done a good job of just always being available to change where that ball's coming from and play out from one side and go out to the other side. Again, doing very well to keep possession for his team there.
Siage wanted the 1-2 touch. Kalungi back to Ross.
Ross definitely stepping up in the absence of Jim Marcus Davison, just keeping the ball moving, ticking, always available for an easy pass for his teammates.
It's one of the longer possessions we've seen from Charlotte all game. Consistent pressure. And a foul called. Chris, why should Charlotte fans be excited about this particular team, given that it's closing in on the end of the regular season and they've, basically put themselves in a spot to maybe win the conference?
I think the fans are excited. They have one of the best goalkeepers in the league, period. But they also have one of the most dynamic and exciting attacks in the league. I think it's hard to argue with anybody that Enzo Martinez is one of the best forwards in the league. And, the fans enjoy coming to watch him play and score goals, and the way he plays, he's very dynamic. Herrera, who's missing tonight, another fantastic offensive player. Fans like to watch offense, and this team is one of the best defensive teams in the league. They have the most shots, up there with one of the teams who have scored the most goals. You know, it's very enjoyable for the fans to watch. And they play a nice brand of football, a nice brand of soccer, sorry.
It's okay. That'll take a little while for you to get used to. Maybe we should adapt.
I came through the airport, and they asked me what I was coming for to play. I said to play football. They looked me up and down like, you're not built like a football player. When I said soccer, they understood.
Tall and thin. You're right. That's pretty funny. Charlotte on their heels a bit. That's just a sloppy tackle from Joel Johnson. He knew it.
Might have just stepped on his toes a little bit there. Difficult to see where he caught him. Didn't look malicious. Just caught him a little bit with a fake, but definitely a foul.
So big opportunity for Richmond on the set piece. Can they tie the game in the 54th minute?
They have Yombi and Roberts in the box, two very, very large fellas.
Imura.
Not the best delivery.
A second chance, still alive. Into a great opening. Good control. Roberts lost it for a moment. Umar. Troyer. Fernando near side. Chips it over top of Johnson, and that was...
Yeah, that's very frustrating. That attack petered out to nothing. You know, a good set-piece opportunity. They send the big guys forward. The first delivery is delivered below knee height, and when you send your big guys in the air forward, you expect to see the ball delivered in the box and give them a chance to attack it, but wasted opportunity there for Richmond.
Meanwhile, Charlotte wants to force the issue. Toward the corner now. Charlotte hoping to double their lead. Hard to necessarily call that a shot. It was so far wide and right of the net.
Yeah, both teams being a little bit wasteful in the opportunities in the final third to create goal-scoring opportunities right now. We saw the same thing from Richmond. Final third, a wasted delivery into the box. Again, similar from Charlotte. Both teams have started off this second half a little bit tentative. If Richmond get the first goal in the second half, obviously it ties things up. But if Charlotte get it, you almost sense it will be game over.
Well, Richmond can still be patient because it's only a one-goal game. And it's still pretty early here in the second half. A little breakaway for Siaj.
Good footwork there from Siaj.
And the whistle blows. Free kick coming for the men in blue.
Referee's telling him that's 3 tackles, no more. Next one is a booking.
Fans, stay up to date with the latest USL news and information from around the league on USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts. Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM FC Channel 85. We'll also air the USL Game of the Week. Check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. Lewis Hilton trying to double the lead. Comes right back to him. And now all of a sudden he's got to sprint back to help defensively. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Imura with a poor pass.
A little bit frustrating for both teams early on in this second half. Needlessly giving away possession. Bad delivery of set pieces into the box and some very wayward passing. You'd expect to see the game settle down sooner or later and Charlotte start to impose their dominance as the home team and try to secure this game.
Independents, I think, have done a really nice job in the midfield. Though the second half, neither team has been particularly clean. As we get a whistle and a foul, it's going to be for Richmond here.
Yeah, I think Hilton and Ross have done a very good job this evening so far in the first 60 minutes of this game in the absence of Martinez and Davidson. Davidson also, despite his playing abilities, he's an experienced player in this team who's able to, you know, keep the team calm, dictate the tempo of play, manage the ball in situations responsibly as a player. And when he's missing, he's obviously a big loss, but Ross and Hilton have done fantastic tonight.
If you joined us late, I'm Brendan Gulick alongside former Guyana national team captain Chris Nurse. Charlotte and Richmond tangoing. Tough tackle. It is deemed in the box and a penalty coming.
I'm going to gamble on this before I see the replay. I'm going to say that was outside of the box.
Troyer can't believe it.
The referee's given a penalty. It may be outside the box. I'm going to gamble before the replay. Let's see. Fantastic first touch. And it's outside the box.
Well, Johnson certainly sold it by landing inside the box, but this is a monumental decision.
Fantastic skill from Johnson, though. You know, he could have delivered the box. He faked it, cut back inside, sold the defender, sold all of us in the commentary box and the fans, and drew the penalty for his team. And here's the opportunity for Charlotte now to take the lead. 2-0 in this game against Richmond, and you almost sense if this penalty lands in the back of the net, it's game, set, and match. The end of Richmond's night. Enzo Martinez stepping up, looking to get his 15th goal of the season.
He is the team's leading scorer and one of the best all across the USL. Can he come up with a big one? Martinez makes it 2-0.
Martinez makes no mistake in putting this one into the back of the net. You can see how much that goal means to him. He's after that golden boot. He's got his motivation and he's got his goal tonight. His team are comfortably in the lead, 2-0, despite missing some key members of their team. Looks like they're going to be taking 3 points, bouncing back from that home defeat last week.
Another look here at the goal put in after Charlotte celebrates the second goal of the night. Enzo Martinez with a great strike. Or I guess the wrong way, and that's that.
You have to feel sorry for Richmond a little bit, though, because on the replay, we've seen, obviously, the referee doesn't have access to replays, but we've seen on the replay the tackle was just outside the box. It should have been a free kick and not quite a penalty, but, you know, sometimes referees get decisions wrong. That's the way the games goes sometimes.
Let me ask you this question, Chris, because you brought up a couple of times that, in your eyes, Charlotte's in position here where they're going to take home 3 points. I see it from the perspective there's still 30 minutes left in this game, and Richmond has an opportunity to try and make this closer. Now, nothing that they have been able to do tonight has, you know, necessarily led you to believe that they're going to come roaring back. But as a player, when you're down 2-0 on the road and there's still 30 minutes left in the game, how do you mentally stay in it?
I mean, every player is different. I mean, the best mentality you can ever have is to play every game as though it's your last game ever. You know, I learned that as a young kid. If you play every game as though it's your last game ever, you'll always have the right mentality. You'll always give the best effort. You'll always approach the game in the right way in terms of your preparation. However, this situation that Richmond find themselves in, where they're not going to make the playoffs, they're away from home, 2-0 down. You know, players now are just coming on, getting injured. It's almost, you can feel it from an instinctive feeling from the inside of how they're feeling. You can look at the reactions on the players' faces, and you know, the reactions you can kind of see. There's not that same emphasis that you sense in a cup competition when a team might be 2-0 down and they know they can come back and progress to the next round of a cup. They kind of, you get the feeling that they can sense they're down and out, and it's just a matter of time before the game's done.
So again, how do you stay motivated? How do you continue to find that drive? Because you're right, you can sense it. You see the body language, you see the frustration, but if you're competing in this game, especially as we said at the outset of the broadcast, a lot of the guys for the Kickers are competing for contracts next year, and the ability to stick around. How do you find that, you know, that deep down inside you when it just doesn't feel right otherwise?
I mean, it's an individual thing, you know. Like, not every player is going to be the same. The manager's obviously going to try to, the coach is going to try to motivate the players to be as upped up for the game as they can be. But every player has a different motivation or a different reason for why they're out there playing, or, you know, what their motivation or what they want to achieve as a player. some players it's for their families, you know, they want to provide for their families, and football is how they do that, and they can't afford to lose their job for that, so they have to go and play every game with that urgency and that level of desperation. You know, it's whatever you can find intrinsically that motivates you as an individual.
Maybe some motivation here. Although admittedly that didn't exactly pan out, I think, the way that Teyu would have expected. Frank Teyu just checked into the ball game, replacing Oliver Minitel, who came on at the start of the half, but was injured and could not continue there.
Yeah, I think he picked up an injury. Sad to see, you know, he was doing well since he came into the game, but hopefully he can recover quickly and still have an impact on some of these games towards the end of the season.
Ball rolls across the touchline. Throw in for Charlotte.
Maybe that explains why Minitel didn't start this game despite scoring in the last game. Maybe he was carrying a little bit of an injury and wasn't quite ready to go.
That deflects off of the Independence out of bounds. Soccer fans, we'd like to remind you that Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. And for more information, you can visit NikeSoccer.com. See Mike Jeffries, he's the back of his head. Mike Jeffries is a great guy. I really enjoy talking about the game with him. He's been the head coach since 2014. Had been an assistant at Duke and at Chicago. Former 1983 Collegiate National Player of the Year. Ended his career in 1988 and then started coaching in 93 a few years later. He's had a tremendous impact on a lot of young men that have played this game.
Yeah, and you can look at the squad that he's built here is a very talented, but also a mix of experienced players, and you can see all of the smiles on their faces, the way these guys train, the way they play. They enjoy playing for this coach. They enjoy playing the brand of football that he embellishes on this team, and they're reaping the rewards as a result of it.
Charlotte leads by 2. They got an early goal from Jaime Siaj, but in the second half, a big strike on a penalty kick in the 60th minute from Enzo Martinez has made this contest 2-0. Martinez just dribbled it right into a bad spot. Fernando. Oh, great play ahead. And finally, the flag goes up. I had a thought that was coming, but Yudai Mura had a really good look there at making it a 2-1 contest should there not have been a whistle.
Yeah, Fernando's had a decent night. He's been fairly decent on the ball. Tried to be aggressive and attacking going forward. Had some good link-up play. You know, he's been one of the players who's turned up tonight and performed. But you want this Richmond team to play like they're possessed almost. That's the kind of attitude that you want to see from them, like they're possessed and everything is at stake for them in these last 25 minutes. But you don't quite sense that level of urgency coming from them.
It's been a frustrating year for Richmond. Again, they have won back-to-back games coming into tonight. The first time all year. When you've done that, you've played 25 games. It's hard to feel good about building any kind of momentum. 5 of their 15 goals on the season are in the last 2 contests, 2-1 and 3-1 victories.
Yeah, again, you analyze those stats. Before the past 2 games, they played almost 20 games and only scored 10 goals. You know, that's not form or goal scoring ability that's going to be able to carry you into the playoffs or to win a championship or become regular season championships. And, you know, maybe that's the area that they look to strengthen during the off-season and look to go again next year.
They do have some soul-searching to do. Hilton will restart it. Maybe. There we go. Looking for Martinez. Yambi keeps it in play. Underwood pressuring. And Raul Gonzalez draws the foul.
Yeah, I think Charlotte thought that ball had gone out of play earlier for a throw, and the linesman didn't give the decision, and the referee ended up giving a foul against Richmond. Against Charlotte, pardon me.
Nicely done, changing possession. Estrada. Hasn't played as integral a role tonight as I kind of expected he would. Usually been a pretty good player this year, but had a quiet night thus far.
You can see collectively, Richmond aren't doing the best job of closing the ball down. They've done well to win the ball back in that situation again. Fernando doing a good job through the midfield, closing down the ball, assisted by Amura. But they just turn it straight back over to Charlotte.
Teo had a nice layoff and then ran to a spot at the top of the box, but the ball never came back to him.
If Richmond got to get back in this game, they've got to pressure the ball collectively. You're seeing like one or two, that's a fantastic pass there, straight through the middle of the park.
Johnson, play on. Plays it ahead, Siage. Looking for Martinez. Good work right there on the defensive side, even though it's going to result in a yellow card.
Yeah. I think the referee's pulled this one back. He allowed play to continue a little bit, but yellow card issued there. I'm not sure quite who it ended up going to. It looked like Roberts maybe for the foul on Castillo.
Another look.
Nothing that we could, or maybe for the late challenge, but nothing really we could see. I think the referee probably get it from the footage just before what the camera showed there. But Richmond doing a good job in ones and individuals going and closing down the ball. They need to do a better job as a team, collectively, to get back into this game. Only 20 minutes left. You sense time's running out for them.
Hilton. Great ball played to the back post. Just barely gotten to in time on the Richmond side. It sets up a corner kick. That was a terrific ball.
Yeah, I think Alex Lee did a good job to keep his eye on that one and head it out of play. Just behind him, you could see the Charlotte forward just sneaking behind him had he not headed that out of play, but dangerous ball into the box. Yeah, and just confirmation there, it was Milan Roberts who received the yellow card there for the foul on Castillo a couple minutes earlier.
This time Hilton's corner kick. Headed toward the back post, uncontested. And he missed it by an inch.
Yeah, and again, another corner kick delivered into the box and a free header on goal. Richmond lucky not to be 3-0 down.
Oh, so close. Meanwhile, Johnson had the foul whistled against him. Maybe that was karma coming back his direction after he drew the foul outside the box in the 60th minute. That was ruled a penalty kick.
Yeah, I think that was Fernando there, picked up the ball wide left and caught Johnson with a clean nutmeg. He just brought him down rather than let him run around him.
The USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Follow them on Twitter at USL or online at uslsoccer.com. Charlotte in blue, Richmond in white. Independence with 44 points in second place in the Eastern Conference. With the season beginning to draw down to the home stretch here, they have a chance to make a real statement tonight before their schedule gets brutally difficult the last 6 games. But they are very likely playoff bound. Meanwhile, for Richmond, well, I don't want to quite say that they're playing for pride, but it certainly feels that way. And they have not executed very well tonight.
Yeah, there's been a few good individual performances, but collectively as a team, they've not quite been good enough to come away from home and get a result tonight.
Good ball up to Fernando from Umar. It's laid back. That's not a bad idea, but Umar was too tall with it.
Definitely defending from corner kicks has been atrocious from Richmond in this game. It's been a goal-scoring threat every time that Charlotte have had a corner kick. And at this stage of the season, you don't expect to see such bad defending like that from corner kicks.
How difficult is it to make an in-game adjustment on something like that?
I mean, if you look at it, it's man-for-man marking, so every player it looks at for the Charlotte team has a Richmond player that they're supposed to be marking, and players just aren't either not getting close enough, tight enough to their opponents, or just not concentrating and coming out second best.
Amura threw the defense away for a moment. Tipped into the middle. Fernando lets Troyer come handle it. He recenters it. Teyu, with a great idea, chesting it down into a shot where he could curl around. And he just didn't strike it the right way.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad idea there from Teyu. Chest control was good, however, the ball didn't quite drop where he wanted it to, so he could turn and hit that on the volley, but it was the right idea. He just didn't quite connect with it as he would have liked to.
Illegal touch.
A little bit scrappy right now from both teams, giving away possession in the middle of the park needlessly. Just need to put their foot on it and take control of the game.
That was a really nice series of passes, and Charlotte able to get out of trouble. Wara comes out and quickly sends it down the field. Now all of a sudden it feels like Richmond has turned on another gear.
Yeah, they're definitely chasing it. The substitution have had a difference. Terry's coming on there and applying a little more pressure to the defense, but Charlotte kind of causing their own problems by turning the ball over unnecessarily and being a little bit wasteful in the final third. Just now we saw Yearwood make a great overlapping run on the outside, and rather than feed him in and just slide it forward to him so he can whip a ball into the box, went for the difficult pass over the top of the defenders and ended up turning over possession back to the goalkeeper.
3 games have already gone final across the USL, all of them in the Eastern Conference. Louisville City, the top seed in the East, beat Charleston 1-0 in a great game. New York Red Bulls 2 with a 4-2 win over Tampa Bay Rowdies. That's a big win for the Red Bulls 2 side. And Cincinnati and Pittsburgh drew 1-1 at Nippert Stadium. I think we have another yellow card coming.
Yeah, Durkin just a little bit too aggressive on Yearwood. Yearwood with some good footwork, keeping his team possession down in the lower third, and Durkin just throwing his shoulder into him and fouling him, referee giving him a yellow card.
Yeah, Yearwood may have sold that a little bit.
a little bit of play acting there from Yearwood also.
Fans, you can stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from all around the league on Monday nights at 7 p.m. with USL Coast to Coast, hosted by Mike Watts. It's on Sirius XM FC Channel 85. It will also air the USL Game of the Week. Check dates and times on USLsoccer.com. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage tonight from Charlotte. Along with Chris Nurse, I'm Brendan Gulick. Charlotte Independents have been playing well, though they were dealt a couple of blows this week. Jude Marquez Davidson aggravated his groin. Caleb Calvert, who is available today on the 18, had a rolled ankle during training this week. The MLS player on loan to Charlotte was likely unavailable tonight. Have not seen him. Alex Martinez on a 4-game suspension for a spitting incident last week. Jorge Herrera not in the 18. He was the USL Player of the Month in July. And so all of a sudden this is a Charlotte team that looks a lot different than the team that had 8 consecutive wins. How about this little touch pass back to Enzo Martinez, who has scored tonight. He is always looking for a little crease to slip one through. Ross to the near side, good pass. Receives it right back from Dennis Castillo. Now that it's getting late enough in the game, Richmond has to really turn up the pressure if they want to have a chance to come back and maybe equalize this.
Yeah, and you don't see that closing down pressure that they need to win that ball back. Charlotte now just keeping possession, stretching the field side to side, just making it very difficult for Richmond and tiring them down. I think what this win will do for Charlotte is give them confidence throughout the whole team. And if they're going to go on to continue to challenge for first place and go on to try and win the playoffs, it's a team effort. And I think they've proven today that they can be missing big players. I think altogether they're missing, through suspensions and injuries, a total of 7 players, you know, with the likes of Herrera, Davidson, Martinez. You know, they're big misses for Charlotte, but they've proven that they have players of depth within the team who can step in and get the job done, and that's a huge confidence boost.
Richmond has to be patient with their possessions. Can't force something quite yet. They've got to still take good looks. They need to do more to create those good opportunities. Something developing here. And you could just tell the frustration from Yudai Imura. He knew that was probably a little too strong on the pass, looking for Troyer.
Yeah, and it hasn't all been bad for Richmond tonight. They've had spells of good possession and good play, but they just haven't clicked in the final third, and I think that's probably been the story of their season. They've not quite been good enough in the final third, and in this game they've not been good enough in the final third, and they've not been good enough defending from set pieces, which is how they find themselves 2-0 down to Charlotte.
Mizell sends it away. Nike's an official sponsor of the USL. Visit NikeSoccer.com for more information. The official continues to be active in the game. He's been blowing his whistle an awful lot. This time it was to tell William Yambi that he didn't like how he handled that.
Yeah, I think the referee's done a good job in this game. You know, he's given the yellow cards when it's necessary, but he's also spoken to players, not necessarily just been wild with his cards. He's tried to manage the game better, speak to players, get them to change their habits, rather than just brandishing cards and reducing the number of players on the field. He's done a good job in marshalling this game.
Good footwork from Duckett, feeling which play is the best option. There's a great opportunity. Castillo pressed off the ball for a moment. Laura sends it out.
Good defending from Richmond there in the end to get across the run of the defender, not allow him to get the easy shot on goal, and managed to defend that one back upfield, I think. Troyer was the defender there. Good play.
Knocked to his knees. No foul called.
And that's what we're talking about, the urgency. Richmond are taking a minute to take this free kick. They need to get on with play and try to play quickly and increase the tempo and momentum in the game.
The time is not on their side.
Time's not on their side, and you know, they're playing like they're in the lead.
A few chances perhaps, but none of them materialized. It is a goal kick, however.
This set piece,
part of a quarter kick.
This set piece they need to deliver in here. They've sent their big guys forward, Yombi and Roberts, a few times for set pieces, and the ball hasn't come into the area for them to be able to attack it, to win it. You know, if they're going to send the big guys forward, they've got to put a ball in that gives them a chance.
They decide to play the short corner. Fernando to the back post, a great opportunity.
And we just spoke about they send the big guys forward, and it's Milan Roberts that ends up on the end of that corner. The first time they put in a good delivery in the air, a ball in the air to be attacked, and he's got himself on the end of it. I think he wishes he had that one back and could direct it on frame. It could have been an opportunity to get them back in on the score sheet, but they've now found a route that gives them goal scoring opportunities.
Roberts is a big threat on corner kicks. He's got great presence in the box. We've seen him a couple of different times tonight.
Yeah, he's still in his mid-20s. He's had some time with the Canadian national team. You know, he's a player still with a lot of potential, very young in his professional game. Interesting to see how far he can take it.
Enzo Martinez has it cleared away. No foul, though he's still down.
And there's Roberts at the other end of the field. That's an excellently timed tackle. It's in the box, so if he gets it wrong, it's going to be a penalty. But he makes no mistake. He takes the ball and takes the man. We've seen him just miss an opportunity at the defensive end, but Martinez comes across with a touch here. See a well-timed tackle there from Roberts.
Cleared away by Wara. Well, for Charlotte at this point with a 2-goal lead and less than 7 minutes left in regulation, it becomes about just possessing, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, I think 7 minutes to go in this game. The way the game's gone, I think Meisel will be livid if he doesn't manage to keep a clean sheet for the remainder of this game. I think that'll be what the focus will be. Switch to, no, just keep possession, keep a clean sheet. Don't allow the opposing team any opportunities to get on the score sheet. I think at the end of the night, Coach Mike Jeffries will be happy with the team is the way his team's performed and their ability to get the job done.
Well controlled. Slow to get up, but Siage gets back to his feet and they play on. The USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Follow the league on Twitter at USL or go online to uslsoccer.com. Troyer and the Kickers running out of time. Imura. Back to Umar. It's a really good idea, but
just a right idea, but that's such a difficult pass to execute. If you hit it wrong, this is exactly what happens. The opposing team goes on the counter-attack and you find yourself running back 60 yards and your teammates are very happy with you.
No margin for error on a pass like that. Instead, Enzo Martinez content to just stand over the top of the ball for a moment, at least until somebody pressures him.
Yeah, and I think that's experienced play from Charlotte. They know the stage of the game is. There's no need for them to rush and no need to score more goals. They just need to control the game, keep possession, and the 3 points are theirs.
Charlotte still with a 2-0 lead. Quick whistle.
Again, Richmond doing a good job of running down the clock on Charlotte's behalf. They've got to play with a level of intensity, like a possessive level of intensity that shows they're urgently trying to get back into this game. Take their time, ended up being a goal kick out of play and turning the ball directly over to Charlotte, who are going to take their time. Just 5 minutes left in the game. There's no need for them to rush and get this ball back into play.
So what needs to be done from a coaching staff perspective to try and get that mentality to change?
I mean, there's only so much the coach can do. When it comes to the field, you've got to rely on your leaders on the field to take that responsibility on and get it done. The players on the field are the ones who are down 2 goals right now. They're the only ones who can change it.
Johnson tries to curl one in the upper 90. Just a little bit off the mark. Nice save by Wara.
I mean, when you're 2-0 down with less than 10 minutes remaining, you've got to be more direct in your play. You've got to try and put the ball into the danger area where goals are scored.
Troyer certainly tried to do it there, looking for Teyu.
Yeah, they just got to continue to feed the ball into the danger area. I hope something comes their way.
Duck it all over Teyu, who is an awfully big body. But he did not come into the game until about the 65th minute. Regulation has almost concluded. Probably a small window of stoppage time will be added.
I think that sums up the frustration of Richmond's night tonight. Some good passing sequences, some good possession, but in terms of making the keeper work and final product, it hasn't quite been there.
Jaime Siaj leaving the pitch, and he'll be replaced by Caleb Calvert, who apparently is okay enough with that rolled ankle to make an appearance.
Siaj, another good night. Whenever he's played, he's had an impact on the game, and now he has 4 goals in just 3 starts this season. A fantastic return for any coach. You know, he's going to have a big say when all the players are fit. He rightfully has an argument with the coach for a starting place in the lineup.
Meanwhile, Calvert on loan from the MLS side. What does he bring to this team?
Experience. He's coming down, essentially, from the parent club. You know, the players want him to come on in this situation and do the right things for them to see this result out and leave with 3 points without conceding. He's just going to bring that. He'll just bring that leadership and organisation to the team, just for these last couple of remaining minutes.
Another substitution here, and it's for Calvert to come immediately off the field.
Okay. I didn't quite get that substitution there.
You know what? You could see him kind of, hobbling off the field. I think the fans just wanted to see him make an appearance.
Not quite sure what that substitution was. He came on and
Luke Wechter
immediately came on.
That was all about showmanship. How about a great opportunity here? Holy smokes, did Castillo get drilled? Wow. I don't know how Castillo is still standing. One hopper right at Mizell.
Now into stoppage time. Mizell in no rush. Doing the right thing, not playing out from the back, getting his team up, telling them there's only a couple of minutes left, getting this ball upfield. As far away from his goal as possible.
2 minutes of stoppage time added on.
And I think that's where we've seen Mizell develop throughout the course of the season. I think early on in the year, he may have played that one out short, but rightfully so, 2-0 in the lead. Just a couple of minutes remaining, you do that, you get your team up the field, you protect your clean sheet.
Hilton tips it ahead. It's in the back of the net, and the goal counts.
And we spoke earlier about Enzo Martinez and his ability to let the ball run across his body, and he does just that to finish this goal. First time into the corner. This is his second goal of the night, but he creates this opportunity himself. If you see just before the scoring opportunity arises, his work rate up there, he's chasing the ball down, he's making it very difficult for the defenders to play.
I have to be honest, I thought Travis Wara there had a pretty good argument.
I think Martinez does a good job in this instance of keeping himself onside. He makes it look offside in a way, lets the ball run across his body, but that's his instinct in the final third. He's very clinical.
Enzo Martinez with his second goal of the night, and that one he earned the first time. Not that it was a cheap goal, but it came on a penalty kick.
Enzo Martinez 2, Siaj 1, Richmond 0.
So Charlotte will finish the game with a convincing win. Meanwhile, Jacob Bender is going to come on. He'll take Enzo Martinez's spot so that he can further milk the limelight.
Yeah, Coach Mike Jeffries definitely using this opportunity to rotate the squad a little bit, give some players some minutes. Albeit, was it the 1 minute that we saw for Caleb Calvert?
Was it that long?
But I think you can see a Charlotte team that are just enjoying the season, enjoying the occasion, and playing with a smile on their faces. 3 goals at home tonight and a clean sheet. I think this is very clear to say they've rebounded from that loss last week.
Mike Jeffrey's squad has done what they needed to here at home. They will finish this 4-game homestand, 2 wins, a loss, and a tie.
Yeah, Ross and Hilton have been very good in the middle of the park today for Charlotte.
There's the final whistle. Charlotte Independents are on a roll. 13th win of the year. They have 47 points, and right now they are in 2nd place at the top of the Eastern Conference. An early goal from Jaime Siage put Charlotte out front literally 2 minutes and change into the game, and they were able to cap it off with 2 Enzo Martinez goals in the second half. We'll wrap this one up from Charlotte when we return.
Non-attorney spokesperson. Were you seriously injured in a motor vehicle accident?
Call 800-902-3240.
You may be entitled to compensation. Every day, 96 people die in vehicle accidents. Thousands more injured. It's the leading cause of death for ages 16 to 24. If you were seriously injured or a loved one was killed in a motor vehicle, get some peace of mind now.
Call 800-902-3240.
You may be entitled to compensation.
Hi, Kathy Mitchell here with my new Red Copper 5-Minute Chef. You're gonna love the way this kitchen wonder makes delicious home-cooked food in a flash. Try this. Place in sausage, peppers, egg, and cheese. Then close the lid. No folding, no flipping, and in just 4 minutes, a delicious light and fluffy omelet. Designed with 2 deep wells, 5-Minute Chef cooks from the top and bottom. So my homemade corn dogs are done fast and easy. And no sticking. Everything comes right out. Call now and get my Red Copper 5-Minute Chef with spatula for just $39.99. And I'll ship it all for free. Plus get my recipe book free. But wait, you can double the offer and receive a second set. Plus our Flipwitch sandwich maker. Just pay a separate fee. It lets you flip delicious hot sandwiches in just minutes. An incredible value. Call now.
Call 1-800-390-8106 or visit by5minutechef.com. So call 1-800-390-8106. Order now.
Well, I know we're not quite there yet, but this Charlotte Independence team looks like they're ready to make a run for the USL Championship. Still a few weeks left in the regular season, but they are rounding into form and showing their depth. A 3-0 win here tonight over Richmond. A look at the full-time highlights. Chris, they got on the board early and took control of this game right away off this corner kick in the 3rd minute.
Yeah, Richmond weren't very good defending from corner kicks and set pieces throughout the night. Jaime Siage, we spoke about him timing his runs in the right place at the right time, taps it into the back of the net. 1-0 Charlotte.
Anytime you can start a game at home with a goal 3 minutes in, so much more difficult as the road team to get anything going. It just never really panned out for Richmond.
Yeah, Richmond had their opportunities. This was one they had early on in the first half. Didn't quite test the keeper, and I think that was the story of their evening. Despite some good possession and sequences of passages of play, they didn't quite test the keeper to create scoring opportunities that they should have.
Here's a good look at the penalty kick that eventually came, but a controversial one.
Johnson faked everybody in the stadium here. Keeper gives a penalty despite it being just outside the box. They don't always get the decisions right, but great play from Johnson. Troy there with the foul, conceding the penalty.
So Martinez took the shot.
And made no mistake.
He certainly didn't. Wora guessed the wrong direction. It was 2-0.
For his 15th goal of the season, Enzo Martinez.
He had another one in him eventually. We'll get to that in a moment. One of the few times that Richmond put together a real good chance here in the second half.
Yeah, Fernando, he was lively outside for most of the second half, but there you see the frustration. Not quite good enough in the final third. But there we see Enzo Martinez, so good at using his body and letting the ball run across his body so he can finish that first time and just places it into the corner. Leaves the keeper no chance. Second goal of the night, third goal for Charlotte.
Everybody on Charlotte's defense wanted the offside call. It never came. A look at the final match stats with the fireworks going off in the background after an Independence win.
Yeah, the possession ended up being pretty equal, but both teams had a number of shots on target, but Charlotte had 6 shots on target in comparison to Houston's 2. Of those 6 shots that Charlotte had on target, 3 of them found the back of the net.
So Charlotte wins, and they did not outshoot Richmond. How about that? In the meantime, our save of the match, brought to you by Wells Fargo, actually didn't come from a goalkeeper. Check this out.
Yeah, another corner kick that Richmond struggled to defend, and here we see fantastic header off the line from Durkin. Had he not been on the line, that would have been 2-0 early on in the game, and Richmond would have found it much harder, but fantastically placed on the line, head that one away from goal.
It really was a tremendous save, and could have made it an even more difficult night for the Charlotte Independents here this evening. Well, any final thoughts?
I think a very good performance from Charlotte in the end. They had a number of changes, but this win, after coming off a defeat in their last game, will give them plenty of confidence going into the last few games of the season.
Charlotte with a 3-0 win, and they go to 13-5-8 on the season. Richmond falls to 5-13-8. Charlotte's next game is September 9th. That's this upcoming week at 7 o'clock. They'll play Charleston. It's a big game coming up. For our entire broadcast crew, producer Ava Ponte and analyst here, Chris Nurse, I'm Brendan Gulick. Good night from Charlotte, where the Independents pull out a win.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.